This is Extra Paycheck Podcast, episode number 43.
You're listening to Extra Paycheck Podcast, where you will learn how to build and grow your own successful online business. Now, here's your host, Alex Soul.
Welcome to yet another episode of Extra Paycheck Podcast. This is episode number 43, and in today's episode, I will be talking about building your business or growing your business while traveling or simply being away from home. Because let's admit it, a lot of us entrepreneurs, especially online entrepreneurs, are building our businesses or choosing the path of the internet because we want the freedom. We want the certain freedom of being able to do what we want to do wherever we are in the world. And for many of us, traveling is important, and traveling is one of the reasons for building a business online, which means you are not obliged to come into an office 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Or you don't have to be in a specific city or even your home office to build a business, because as long as you have online connectivity, as long as you can find free Wi-Fi, you can build your business. And this is honestly one of the main reasons I chose this very path, because I don't want to be stuck in a specific place for too long. I like traveling. I like meeting new people. I like discovering new places. And I like the opportunity of being able to grow my business while traveling and discovering all these new places. Now, I've tried that a few times before. I've tried that in 2010, where I went traveling to Europe for about 9 months, and I lost my business and my blog. And you can hear all about that in my episode number 36, which you can find at extrapodcast.com/36. Now, in 2014, I traveled to Europe once again, and I spent about 5.5 months, I think, away from Montreal. And I did a much better job with my blogs and my online business. However, I still didn't manage to do as much as I thought I would do, and I wasn't as productive as I wished I would be. And I learned a lot from those experiences. And this is why I'm not scared of failing, because every time you fail, it opens new doors and it teaches you a lesson, and it teaches you something that you could apply for your future ventures, which, is a great thing in a way. Now, 2016, I will be traveling quite a bit, and this is the reason I am releasing this episode. Now, let's get into some details. So this episode is being released on January 18th, Monday, which is today. This is when I'm recording this actual episode. And in exactly 1 week, I will be leaving to Las Vegas for 1 week for a private affiliate marketing conference. Then I'm coming back to Montreal for just a few days, just for the weekend. And on February 1st, I'm leaving to Southeast Asia for the next 4 months, meaning that I'll come back to Montreal sometime in the end of May. Now, this is a long trip, and I know that I will be busy discovering places and doing a whole bunch of different things, but this time I will be working really, really hard on growing my business while traveling. And one of the key points here is to get prepared before you leave on your adventure. So in my case, one of the main things that I did is this very podcast, the Extra Paycheck Podcast. Now, as you are a listener of this podcast, you know that I release a new episode every single Monday. And most of my episodes feature amazing guests and inspiring entrepreneurs who I have to interview for my podcast. And I interview most of my guests remotely using Skype, but I still need to have a good internet connection. I still need to know exactly when I will be available in order to record those podcasts. And I need a decent microphone as well, which requires me to have a decent microphone, which I don't want to take traveling with me. Now, what I did for Extra Paycheck Podcast is that I dedicated the past 3 to 4 weeks recording interviews with awesome entrepreneurs and guests for my show. And I think I've recorded about 20 different episodes, which will last me for the next 4.5 months while I'm traveling. So this is something that I got out of the way beforehand. And as I mentioned, the fact that I don't know when I'll be able to record those podcasts, the fact that there are such a different timelines from Southeast Asia and North America, where most of my guests come from, the fact that I don't want to carry a big microphone with me while traveling, and the fact that I don't know if I'll have a stable internet connection and when I'll have it, kind of forced me to pre-record these episodes way in advance, which I haven't done before. And to be honest with you, I'm really loving it. Now, a lot of people call this process batching, which means that you take a certain task and you do a lot of it in a relatively short period of time. So instead of recording 1 to 2 episodes every week, what I did is I recorded about 20 episodes within 3 weeks. So I did it in a big batch of episodes, and I'm really enjoying this process because for the next few months, I will not have to worry about a new episode for the podcast. I wouldn't have to worry about finding a new guest, scheduling the interview, releasing it in time. All of that is behind me now because I am ready. Well, at least the podcast is ready for me traveling for the next 4 months. So this out of the way, I still need to be ready to work a lot because I have the Extra Paycheck blog. I still have the Extra Paycheck podcast, which means that although my podcasts are recorded, all the episodes are recorded, I still need to release them every Monday. So I'll need to write a show notes page for each episode. I also have niche websites where I have to produce content and I have to market them in order to make my commissions. And I am starting a brand new website, which I mentioned in one of the previous episodes. I'm starting a brand new website with a friend here in Montreal, and we will be making a case study out of this website where we'll be showing how we're building a niche website from scratch and where it's going to take us. So interesting project to follow. If you aren't following my Extra Paycheck blog, you should be doing that because this will be a super interesting project and you'll see the struggles and the wins and the fails and the potential of, starting a niche website in 2016. So in order to get all this work done while traveling, I will have to stay extremely organized and disciplined, which is not something that I'm really good at, but I'm trying hard and I'm learning as much as I can. I've been reading a lot of blogs and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts on efficiency and productivity. I've been reading a lot of books in the past 2 years, and I'm getting ready for this as well. So one of the first things that I'm doing is I'm actually starting a physical agenda, a notebook where I will be writing my goals, where I'll be setting goals for the next 4 months. So at a quick glance, I'll be able to know what I'm doing, if I'm on the right path, if I'm missing some crucial points. Another thing that I will be working closely with is this app that's called Trello, Trello. Check it out. It's a free app for your phone, for your computer as well. And this app is really amazing at helping you stay organized because you could set tasks and goals in that app and break them for, by week or by day or by specific task, and you can add notes in there and you could keep track of everything you're doing. Now, this is something that I haven't used before either, and this is something that I just started using, and I'm really loving this app so far, and I'm sure it will help me stay organized and get a lot of work done. Another thing that I will be doing with Trello is setting up daily specific tasks. So I'll know how my whole week is planned out, and I'll have, as I mentioned, a number of tasks for the whole week ahead of me. So I will be able to complete those tasks every single day. Now, before going to bed every night, I will take a glance at Trello and I will see the task that I have completed and the tasks that I have failed to complete for the specific day. Now, if I fail to complete a task, there are basically two main reasons for it. First reason being the task is maybe not that important, and maybe I should reconsider completing that task at all. A second reason being that the task may be very difficult, and maybe I'm not giving myself enough time to complete the task, or maybe I should review it and break it down in different parts and then spread those parts over several days or weeks. So, as I mentioned, at the end of the day, before going to bed, I look at those tasks, and the tasks that I did not complete, I will either get rid of them or move them on to the next day or the next week. And this is something where I'll have to spend a lot of time once again being organized and trying to make decisions on what's important, what should be done, and when it should be done. So guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, Trello, check them out. Really great app. As I mentioned, it's free and it will help you stay organized and motivated. Now, another awesome thing with Trello is that you could share it with others. So if you're working in a team, or if you have a virtual assistant or anyone else that needs to access your schedule or help you with certain tasks, they could also have access to your Trello app, and they could see the things that need to be done that you've been doing, or that task that you allocated to someone else. Now, this is another thing that I should be mentioning here. A virtual assistant could be of a lot of help to many of you entrepreneurs. This is something that is coming with a big difficulty to me, because I am still not comfortable with delegating tasks to other people, because I know that people don't care about my business as much as I do. And I'm scared that people will not complete those tasks with such attention to detail as I would. And I don't have a virtual assistant yet. I have outsourced certain things in the past to through different websites such as freelancer.com and Odesk and many other resources. So yes, I do outsource things to freelancers from time to time, but I am not yet comfortable with hiring a virtual assistant. Maybe I will do that while in Asia, because I have a lot of things that need to be completed, and a lot of things take up a lot of time, and they're simply not worth it. Annoying things that need to be done, but I would rather spend my time doing something else and growing my business than completing those boring everyday tasks. So that's a suggestion. That's a suggestion to some of you. Look into hiring a virtual assistant for a few hours a week, or maybe even full time, depending on how much stuff you need to do. But this certainly could help you out with a lot of things, especially when you're traveling, when you're on the move, and you don't have access to your emails and to working 24 hours a day like most of us entrepreneurs do, because sometimes we do exaggerate and we spend way too much time in front of the computer working, or even wasting our time. So yeah, virtual assistants, something to look into if you want to stay organized and if you want to get more stuff done. Another thing that I keep hearing from successful entrepreneurs, and I've kind of tried that a little bit, but failed most of the time in Montreal, is getting up early and getting all your work done the first thing in the morning. Now, I understand the importance of that, and this is what I'll be trying to do in Asia. And this is very helpful, actually. This is a great plan for such countries as Thailand and Vietnam and all those really, really hot countries, because you aren't really supposed to go outside from, let's say, 11 in the morning until 3 or 4 p.m. because it gets incredibly hot outside. Everything shuts down, everything slows down, and you should be staying in your house, preferably air conditioned anyway. So those times would be great for getting work done. However, my plan is to go to bed relatively early and wake up at maybe 7 o'clock in the morning and getting the most important tasks out of the way by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a solid 3 to 4 hours work being done in the very morning, and it will move you forward a lot in your business, incredibly a lot, especially if you manage to keep yourself disciplined and away from checking your Facebook and your emails, and you actually get that work done. Now, after that work, the initial work, I will go out and explore, maybe go to the beach, go swimming, go exercise, and when it gets really, really hot, I'm back home. And I will be completing other tasks that will be listed in my Trello app. Now, these tasks will be stuff that aren't as important. So probably something like social media sharing, commenting, replying to comments, replying to emails, maybe producing more content that's not crucial, building relationships with people, stuff like that. So stuff that are not critical or crucial to the business, but still need to be done. I'll be doing that in the slow time when it's really hot outside and I have to stay indoors anyway to cool myself down. Now, when it gets colder outside, so let's say 4 p.m., 5 p.m., This is when I'll be going out and exploring the city, the country that I'm at, and I will be doing all the fun things that traveling is offering us. All right, so that's about it. Let's recap. First of all, make sure that you complete tasks that you need to complete before traveling. Make sure you set goals, very specific goals, and break them down by months, by weeks, and by dates, so you know which project needs to be done when and by which deadline, because those things are important and they will help you stay on track of your things. Review the task that you have completed at the end of every day and decide if you need to get rid of some tasks or if you need to move them to the next day. Also, look over at what's planned for the next day so you have a good idea of what you need to be doing tomorrow before you go to bed. If possible, hire a virtual assistant or maybe outsource some of the tasks, some of the things you need to do to someone else. Dedicate specific time in the day to your work, and no matter what, get the work done in those specified time slots. This will help you a lot. And if you want to get some more work done later on, please go ahead, but make sure you respect those 3 to 4 to 5 hours in the morning that you want to dedicate to work, and actually do dedicate those things to working, serious working. I'm not talking about sitting in front of the computer and wasting your time, but actually getting real work done. All right, so that's it for today's episode. Now, folks, I would love to ask you for your advice and your tips. If you can suggest something that will help me stay organized, that will help me stay on track, please do let me know in the comments for this episode, which you can find at extrapodcast.com/43. This is the show notes page. You could leave a comment there. You could also send me an email to alex@extrapodcast.com. And if you are listening to this podcast from Southeast Asia, or if you're planning to travel through countries like Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia during February 2016 and May 2016, please do hit me up, because I would love to meet up with you, maybe record an interview with you, or maybe just have a soup or a coffee or a drink. So do let me know if you're traveling through that region of the world anytime soon. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the show at extrapodcast.com/iTunes. You could also leave a review and a rating there for the show, which will help me tremendously. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned, because next Monday I'll bring an awesome guest with an awesome story to tell. And for the next following Mondays, awesome guests coming on the show. And I'll talk to you next Monday.